Can you hear me? I'm Erik. I'm one of the co-founders of a company called Wilgot. On stage, I have two beautiful props, Douglas Holm and Linda from J. Lindeberg. They will join me in a panel later on in about 15 minutes. I'm the founder of a company called Wilgot. We help brands, help agents get better at selling their products. My background, I used to be a CMO at a fintech company where we were spending way too much money on paid marketing. We couldn't make it work, so we tried this thing called SEO. 1 year later, we had 90% of our customers coming from SEO. I was quite fascinated with the whole domain of SEO, so I founded my previous company when ChatGPT came, with the idea of combining AI content generation with SEO to allow people to write towards what people are searching for. That was almost 4 years ago, way too early. The technology wasn't mature. But a year and a half ago, we saw that people were starting to treat ChatGPT as a search engine. So we started to think, what will happen the day that AI takes over discovery from humans? We realized that the world will look quite different from what it looks like today. We realized there was a need for something new. So that's when the idea to Wilgot came. We thought of the idea to apply AI to help users understand what customers are searching for, why they buy products, and then generate content on the basis of customer demand. So that was the initial idea. We speak to dozens of brands every week. And right now, there's a bit of a panic mode because people don't really know what's going on with agentic commerce. It's moving a bit too fast. But the first thing we need to establish, it's a bit of a cliche, but we believe it is an adapt or die situation. If you don't lean into this change, you will be left behind. Because the big difference between agentic commerce and e-commerce, e-commerce was on top of retail. Agentic commerce is replacing e-commerce. So the ground that you're standing on, if you're selling through the e-commerce channel, is about to break. So what does that mean? Well, the last 12 months, we've seen a shift. 60% of users that search on search engines never reach a website. This has been the last 12 months. And to put that into perspective, this means that you will be getting less and less consumers reaching your website. This has hit other industries. So it has hit consumer industries, software, health, anything but e-commerce. E-commerce has been spared until now. So product discovery has still been a part of the old world of searching. But now that is changing very quickly. So see this as a prelude to what's about to happen to product discovery. If we look at the way users search, we've had this old pattern of searching with keywords. So you enter 1 to 2 words into the search box. You would get the result that you expect because you searched for a blue shirt. You get a bunch of blue shirts, but it wasn't very relevant. So the entire old search experience wasn't very good because it was limited to the brands that had a lot of ad budget who could spend to win that blue shirt keyword and who could invest to rank for those keywords in SEO. But it also meant that the market was very concentrated. Very few brands could actually win. So then what happened about 4 years ago, soon, something came up that was called conversational search. That was ChatGPT, basically describing what you want to the search engine. It gives you an answer back. And that explains why people don't go to websites, because you get an answer instantly in the AI. And now we're heading into the next phase, which we called complex, multi-intent, and contextual search, which means the AI assistants are getting to know you. They know a lot about you, probably more than you think. They will know even more. This means that whenever someone searches, no search will be like the other. Every search will be unique. So the market is fragmenting to millions and billions of different pieces. This means that the market, in a way, is opening up. So consumers will be able to find products that they weren't able to find before. Brands will be able to find customers that they were never able to find in the old world, which was quite concentrated. So the companies we work with see this as an opportunity of a lifetime, because finally, search can work in a fundamentally different way. this was accelerated in January. So yes, OpenAI were first launching their Agentic Commerce protocol, but we believe that what happened in January was even bigger. And the key thing here is that it's not about Google versus OpenAI, it's about distribution. So Google has 90% of the search market. All they have to do is put more AI inside of Google. They already have the users. So we believe that what Google are doing will be a much more transformative shift than what OpenAI are doing currently. Of course, OpenAI may catch up, but for now, we advise all our customers look a lot more at what's happening with Google, because that's where you're dependent today. It's not something new. You're already getting customers from Google. So UCP and ACP are basically the new standard for how AI agents operate with each other, how they talk to each other, how they buy from each other. And it fundamentally marks the end of this click era and the keyword era, and we're entering into this new world which we call zero surface. Zero surface means that you buy directly in the search engine or from the AI assistant. Customers will never go to your website. So this, to us, is the start of agentic commerce. And the key difference is that with this old world, you searched for keywords and you got static matches to those keywords. But in this new world, AI agents will know you. They will interpret your intent, and they will transform that intent to find what you're looking for, if it's products or content. The other thing is the funnel, the funnel, which is fundamentally different in this world. You used to have customers searching, clicking to your website, browsing your website, buying a new website. That funnel is dead as of this shift. So everything is collapsing into one flow, where customers discover products, discover prices, buy the product, and then check out in the entire flow of the search engine. We're also moving from this world where companies focused on SEO, so focusing on getting pages ranked in search engines to get human attention. What you now need to do is focus on the machines. So we couldn't find a good name for the product we were building, so we invented a category called APO, Agentic Product Optimization. Essentially, the thing you need to do is to make sure that the AI agents understand and can recommend your brand and products. So this means structuring everything around your products and adding more context so that the AI can understand your brand and your product. So the billion-dollar question here is, how fast will this transition go? And I think that's what everyone is thinking about right now. Should we panic? Should we jump on this thing, or should we wait? So in order to kind of get this perspective on this, we can look at how other shifts happened. So when we went from marketplace to brick and mortar, the first store in the US was called Piggly Wiggly. It took about 20 years to go from marketplaces to brick and mortar, because there were a lot of things that needed to happen. We needed railroads, highways, postal systems, a lot of infrastructure that was needed for this to happen. So it took about 20 years. The next shift, we got this beautiful thing, eBay. We needed payments, broadband, logistics. It also took about, 10 years compared to 20. So it was faster, but it still took quite a bit of time. What about this next shift? This is Google's AI mode, which is now being rolled out in the US, UK, and Australia. So basically, the user enters their prompt. They get a personalized grid where it's a mix of organic and paid. So everything is merging into one based on relevance rather than who paid the most to show up. And the whole experience is fundamentally different than what we know today as Google Shopping. OpenAI have their equivalent, but I think right now Google have the winning UX. So I believe that the key blocker to this happening is trust, because everything else is there. We have payments, we have logistics. They've even demoed a fully agentic workflow where a customer can buy inside the search engine. So that's all there. The tech is there. But will people trust the AI enough to let it buy for them? I think we underestimate how much people trust AI today. One example from that, which is today pretty old, but more than 10 years ago, someone drove straight into the Atlantic because the GPS told them to. So I think this is a hint. Next hint, a bit more recent example. So Alibaba switched the default interface for the shopping app to the new agentic storefront. during Chinese New Year, just a few weeks ago, they did 120 million transactions in 6 days that were agentic. This was based on their agentic trade protocol. This was a few weeks ago. All they needed to do was to switch the UI from the old world to the new interface, and this happened overnight. So I think we shouldn't underestimate the power of just switching out what we're used to today when it comes to Google. And of course, OpenAI, ChatGPT already has 10% of the world's population using it. So the opportunity then, higher conversion. So if you're buying and discovering and comparing prices in one interface, this drives higher conversion. So you remove a lot of the friction. And it also means that if you have high data quality, you can outcompete bigger competitors with bad data quality. And you remain the merchant of record. So it's not like the Amazon model, it's actually a merchant of record model. Now the risk and the downside here is that if you don't have good product data, or if you're not great at describing your products, you risk being invisible. So that there will be an increased cost of lacking product data. For sure, there will be less people on your websites. That's already happening. And then you have the risk of not even showing up at all. So what we do at Wilgot, we help agents get better at selling your products. So we essentially upgrade your product catalog to make sure that AI agents can find, recommend, and sell your products. So how we do that is we apply AI to analyze how people search, why people buy your product, and then generate content on the back of customer demand and continuously improve that content using AI technology. We've been mapped in this industry by several industry players that are global recognitions. We're the only Nordic company ever mentioned in these reports around agentic commerce. So in a way, we're becoming the standard for agentic commerce discoverability. So what we do is essentially ingest product data, analytics data, first-party data that reveals how customers speak about your products. This can be reviews, customer service data, returns data. We then also look at first-party search data to make sure that all the ways that customers are finding your products today and using them goes into the model. The model then maps those patterns to individual products. So this can be done on 100,000 products in 1 minute. We then generate content on the back of that to publish on product pages, but also into the feeds. So what this does, it allows you to find ways that your customers are using your product that you didn't even know of. So when we did this with Danny Wellington, which was our first customer, the model identified that customers were buying their rings to engrave them. This was nothing that was mentioned on the product pages. But the model identified it, fact-checked it towards the image, and made sure that we could write about the fact that it can be engraved, and then generated content on the back of that. All of a sudden, you have a new audience for your product. People are looking for rings that can be engraved. And this was done fully automated. Yeah. So now I'll hand over to the next part of the session with my fantastic co-hosts, Douglas and Linda from Myrkvist and NJ Lindeberg. So I'll take a seat over here. Maybe start with some introductions. Douglas, do you want to start?
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking about this. I mean, as the board says, we do roughly 100 million SEK in turnover. We sell men's shoes, so it's a very conversation and retail heavy business usually, which is why we've kind of leaned into this right out of the gate, because we can't really match the customer behavior right now. We don't know. I don't have enough data to predict what the customer will ask. So we have to work with semantics the way we do with you to help the models, help us, help our customers help themselves, essentially.
Cool.
Linda?
Hi, thank you for inviting me. My name is Linda Pimmelshofer, and I have actually been on these stages before, but in another role, because now I'm at J. Lindeberg as the CTO, like 5 weeks into the role. And yeah, and I love technology, so of course this is an interesting topic.
For sure. And I think the interesting contrast between the two of you, I think is super fascinating, that you're 20 people, you're 250 people, you're about 10 years old, you're more than 30 years old, and you have both a footprint in the US, and you're also very forward thinking, the both of you, when it comes to this. So I love this mix of the two brands. So thanks for jumping in. So over to kind of the Q&A section. The first one would be, How are you thinking about this shift? Do you see it as a risk or an opportunity?
Yeah, so of course, it's a new sales channel, so it's an opportunity, but it's a different one, and we are getting like further away from the customer. We love to own the relationship as a retailer, and we don't own this. So of course, we need to emphasize the opportunity, but it's also like understand and test and learn how we can build a brand in this way. So it is opportunity, but we need to like have the data. So how can we collect the data and how can we be relevant in this way, where relevance is key, right, going forward.
So more opportunity than risk.
Of course,
Very-
yeah, it's a big
As
opportunity.
usual, you have a
but-
positive view of the world.
Yeah.
I mean,
Douglas?
for us as a smaller company, I mean, our whole core business idea is trying to disrupt a market as old as mankind itself, shoes. I mean, most of the brands that exist in our space, in the more classical men's footwear, are 100 years old. They're owned, like John Loeb, they're owned by a big French fashion house. Crocodile Jones, of course, is a classic. All of them are very, very old, have the heritage. But we're very, very small and very fast moving. So by being earned here, we're hoping to kind of own the next generation of customer. And it's just like for us, it's a huge opportunity because there's only upside, right? Essentially, this is automating and improving what used to be a manual SEO workflow and making it even better. Because at the end, of course, what you do is preparing our data for the LLMs. But in the same way, a good SEO is just good UX. The data and the information we're putting on the pages, like with Danny Wellington and the engraving example, is answering questions that our customers have, which we don't know about. But the broader data and landscape reveals, and then bam, we put it on the page, and that's gonna over time help us convert more customers.
So you think it will allow you to find new customers through this approach?
Yeah. For us, it's like in these discussions, I usually split it into two: on-site and off-site, LLM and agentic work. With you, we tackle both. So we improve the on-site experience while also simultaneously improving our like agent readability, which is a win-win.
So is your prediction that these older brands, they will struggle to lean in? Is that what you're seeing?
I've never met their e-commerce teams, but I mean, if you're 130 years old and all you do is classical men's footwear, yeah, I assume you're a bit more, a bit slower moving than we are with a very small team.
I would echo that with the brands that we're talking to. That there is a clear divide today in the market where, if for example e-commerce was bolted on top of retail for most of these brands, that was even a challenge. And now they have to face this new world, which is fundamentally different, right? So the question is, how are they going to tackle it?
Yeah, and I really think that when you are small, this is a bigger opportunity. And also if you are like we have a specific customer that we really want to reach out, and we want them to find us. And it's really hard for all of them out there to find us. But if we are good in this world, so many more will find, because they are specific. They are the sporty, really fashionable people, and it's a lot of people out there that is a customer, but they don't know about it.
Yep. They don't know about it, but they should know, right?
Yeah, they should know.
And then especially worldwide, right? I mean, you have brand recognition is probably highest in Sweden, of course, and then the US. But that's also part of what we're doing with you. We're also hyper localizing this content. So, I mean, show business again. A customer in the UK will have different questions, ask the question in a fundamentally different way than a customer in the US. So now we've hyper-localized our product catalog for those two markets, since we're both big in the UK and the US. So we can serve them even better. And by extension, as you mentioned, we're going to place better in Google Ads, hopefully have lower click costs, like it's just a win-win overall. And this is not possible for us, especially since the e-commerce team is me, and then our customer support team. So we don't have time to localize content manually.
No.
So for us, AI has been a huge enabler.
Great. Next question, which kind of bridges into what you were saying. So do you feel like you're prepared from your quiz point of view?
Yeah,
Are you physically prepared? the one-man team.
Me and my Cloud Code agents are working hard. No, but for us, of course, it just means that we can 100x the output of our already small team. So it has just enabled massive growth from our current position without increasing headcount, which is of course great for the bottom line and the P&L. So yeah, for our organization, we're prepared. My colleagues, they're prepared because I just told them this is what's happening. So we're doing it, and that's our perk here, the small scale.
Yeah, and then the contrast.
Yeah, so we are not as prepared. I would say we are a step back, but the organization are really. I'm actually a bit shocked and impressed, being only 6 weeks in this traditional business, but everyone is leaning in. We are talking about and soon signing the pilots to go to start with the product information, but then also pictures, so we can be LLM readable in a good way, and also more agile to the data we get back, so we can add the market team to that. So and actually the content creator today that is doing this manual, maybe she could have been afraid and a bit hesitant, but she is leaning in mostly. So it's really interesting to see. Actually, I'm impressed.
No, I've been super impressed with your team, how they think about this, because they see it as an exciting thing that we're entering into this new world where it will mean that the roles will change, but they're excited about it. And I think that's where we're seeing the other side of this equation, where we hear a lot from leaders that their teams struggle to realize what's happening and kind of adapt and embrace it. And I think this will be the divider. You mentioned the legacy brands. I think that will be the main blocker, which is culture. So you have it easier because you're alone, but on your end, I think you're in a great place because you already have that forward-leaning culture, which I guess is also aligned to the J. Lindeberg brand,
but
right?
It's a progressive, our core value is progressive. So
very cool. Next one for Myrkvist. I guess we touched upon this, but so do you see it as fundamentally easier when you're 20 instead of 250?
I mean, I think, as you mentioned, it's a question of culture. There are brands that have 20 employees that are going to be slower movers than you guys because you're forward-leaning. I mean, that's where it all starts. You start with the people, not really the amount. If everyone embraces it or enough, it's going to work. And even if I were a one-man company and I don't embrace it, it's not going to work. So I guess it's not about size. It's more about the organization and the culture.
A mindset.
Yeah.
And I think you're quite similar to a lot of the smaller-ish D2C brands that we see. A lot of them think like that this will be the opportunity of the century, which I think will allow brands like yours to grow exponentially because you're thinking this way. You're willing to try, willing to test. So that's really inspiring to see. Other perspective, you have more heritage, of course, with J. Lindeberg, which is fantastic. So how are you thinking about modernizing that without kind of breaking what already works?
Yeah. So this is it's twofold, because it's both the brand and the brand perception from the customer, and then it's the way of working. So if we look at way of working, because that is where I am a bit part of, it's to cater for both, to be driving in the right lane securely, fixing all the stuff that needs to be working, but also sometimes be in the left lane, learning, testing, cater for the future. And it's like an 80-20 rule. I think it's resonates with all processes. It's both for designers that needs to cater for the current customer, the customer that pays for your products today, but also 20% be truly creative and cater for the customers of the future, building the brand, building that progressive touch. If we are only progressive, everything is pink and no one will buy it, right?
Crazy.
But we will be that crazy progressive brand, but we will not earn money. So to do both, and that is also for this. This is cater for the future customer and the future customer behavior, but we cannot forget the customers we have today and the customer experience we need to deliver on the own channels and wholesale, how we can, we need to do both.
Yeah.
I love that, the 80-20 rule. Is that?
It's like
can we
art
quote
and
you on
science.
this?
Yeah, I think fashion is 80% science, actually,
Yeah.
20% art. If we forget that 20%, it's not fashion anymore. But we need to do both because we need to earn money.
Very true. It's a great way of thinking. Next one. So implications. What do you think this will mean if everything goes in this direction, that you never have the customer on your website, everything happens in the AI? Have you started to think about this, or how are you thinking about it? Maybe Douglas first.
I mean, in our case, it is something we think about. I think that kind of way of thought started with GDPR and that whole rollout. I mean, it feels like 2 lifetimes ago now. This is like pre-AI. But where the core idea is that, okay, we know that we're going to move this away from being able to identify customers. I mean, now we don't even use targeting in our ads. We fully trust the algorithm to find new customers. And I feel like this is just the next step of that.
Yeah.
We'll lose even the zero-party data in some cases. But for me, I don't really care. I want to sell more shoes. That's what's important to me. And if this is the future, then that is the case, and we're ready. And if it isn't, we've just improved our customer experience and discovery funnel like 100x from what it used to be. So it's a win-win in any scenario, really.
Yeah, and I am like so big believer on data and the data, like being smart in all the processes we have. And as a wholesaler, we are 80% wholesale today. We are like so slow, you can say, in processes, and to be planning right in wholesale is like key. So how can we get the data in the future? That is a concern. So we need to find new ways, maybe totally rewrite the process and sell before we produce, or do other stuff. But of course, the lack of data is a concern for sure.
And how are you thinking about loyalty? Because I think loyalty is one of those big unknowns still. Like, how will loyalty work when you never have the customer on your website? How are you thinking about this?
But I think loyalty comes back to customer experience. If this is customer experience customers want, this is building loyalty, right? Loyalty is also when the customers are wearing the clothing. So it's also connected to the buy. So, yeah, I think loyalty, like the old way of looking at loyalty with the clubs, and we should own the customer, and that has been gone for a while. So I don't think that is so new. But of course, we need to, when we meet the customer in our stores, or then we truly need to be spot on. And if they come to our website, the website need also to cater for this new behavior, be more personal. So we need to be really good and authentic when they are meeting us, but we need to cater for this.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's the way I and the rest of the team make me see it. It's go all about customer experience and product. That's where we get to compete now as a small brand. For us, it's a dream.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the media budgets of the legacy brands. We don't have the heritage. So now we can get the product in front of the customer and show them that, yeah, we do sell probably at least one of the most value per crown spent men's shoe brands out there right now.
Which is visible in your customer reviews.
Yeah.
Like your customers love your products.
And that opportunity to really, in a neutral way, be able to show the customer, that's how we're going to win them over. That's how I'm going to see more of our pairs in the crowd next year.
Next year.
Not enough today.
No.
Last question, final minute. Big one, but what do you think it will take to win in this new world?
Yeah, I would say the product is key, and we need to be agile. Yeah. We need to listen to the customer. We need to test and learn, and standing still is the worst thing to do right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like stagnating is dying is like an established term, but now it's happening 100 times faster. I mean, just look at 6 months ago. you couldn't get anything useful out of AI for like business, and then bam, Opus 4.5 disrupted the financial sector, the IT security sector. Opus 4.6. I mean, now we phased out all of our consultants that work with development. Like, it's happening so fast. You have to be on top of it every day, which is a lot of work. But that's how we win here.
Yeah. Perfect. Great way to round it off. Thank you so much for coming, and thanks to everyone in the audience.